Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 10.
We don't have Ty.
10.
Ty Dillinger. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. They failed on the Ty Funko.
Nobody wants a Ty Funko Pop.
I probably wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
Not even gonna lie.
Even if he had it like this, he would not have bought a Ty Funko Pop.
I wouldn't have bought that one. Episode number 10 of The Heel Turn. I am Big Ralph TV. Back once again with Don, Josh, and we're gonna have ourselves an end of the year list yet again, and this time we are doing the top 5 male and top 5 female wrestlers of the year.
Yeah, we're gonna be taking over both WWE and AEW. So forgive us if we don't cover any of your favorites from New Japan or was it TNA Impact Wrestling again? Because there's just so much wrestling out there, we don't have time to cover all of that. Yep. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the women this time. We're gonna go ahead and you want to start it off, or I'll start off?
You start off.
Okay, I'll start.
Last time.
Okay, cool. So I'll start it off. So just like the last time, we're gonna do number 5 to number 1. So don't blow up on me for my first answer. Oh, that's your best one?
Motherfucker! Go off.
So my number 5 top female wrestler of the year goes to Io Shirai for me. Because I got to see a different side of Io this year that just really, it's got me interested. I really think, and if everything goes well, I think she's going to be the one to take the belt off of Rhea. It's probably not going to be her first challenger, but I could see her being the one down the line here in a couple months, being the one to take the belt off Rhea. But yeah, just from her heel turn earlier this year, turning on Candice LeRae and everything like that, the matches she's had, her new character is phenomenal. You got to go back and think like when she was the Genius of the Sky, because WWE really likes to play up these Japanese characters, the Japanese women, as they're already naturally smaller than the rest of their competitors, so they come off as like natural babyface underdogs kind of. You see the same thing with Kairi Sane.
Yep.
But to see her switch from that kind of gimmick into her new Japanese, hair metal kind of, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
But she's killing it. So for me, that's my number 5 for the year. I know she didn't have any title reigns or anything like that.
You don't have to.
This is, again, just my opinion. But she definitely got me, she definitely did it for me all year.
You said heel turn, and I instantly thought about my one girl.
Did you leave somebody off the list?
What's my girl from NXT that had the great heel turn?
Is she not on the list?
She's not on my list.
Well, then, she doesn't need to be mentioned then, I guess.
Can I give her an honorable mention?
An honorable mention goes to Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai.
Again, we didn't look at each other's lists. So I can already, just from that little nugget of information right there, I can already tell that she really didn't mean that much to me.
She didn't make it. But my number 5 will be Charlotte Flair.
Oh, okay. Woo!
Still, even though last week we both kind of bashed her.
Just kind of roasted her for at least a good 10 minutes of a 40-minute episode.
Yeah. Good portion of that episode was Charlotte needs to go away, but I will say that even though I'm not a big fan of her 2 most recent title reigns, Charlotte still had a great year overall. She was involved in some of the biggest matches. She was involved in the main event at WrestleMania. She won the title a few different times. Then she had the match against Trish Stratus at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was good,
kind of a farewell to Trish.
Generation versus generation. Yeah. I got
you. Charlotte's done her thing this year. She's kind of in a funk right now. But still, you can't mention women's wrestling without mentioning the queen, the greatest women's wrestler on the planet.
Yep. On God's green earth.
The greatest. Hot take. I will say that of people who were superstars, who were great of all sports, we're talking, the greatest people, Michael Jordan, that level of people that have kids.
Yeah.
Charlotte is the best of that era. Like, she's the best kid.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, explain that a little
Michael
better.
Jordan's kids are trash at basketball. Like, they didn't make it.
Okay, second generation.
Second generation. From that level.
Okay.
Like, you were the greatest at this
Okay, so
sport.
the GOAT's children.
The GOAT's children.
Okay.
Michael Jordan's boys, they're not.
You're calling them trash right here. You're calling them trash right now.
Hey, they're great at other things, but making it to the NBA was not going to be one of those things.
Sure.
But I will say Charlotte is probably, and we know it's wrestling.
Yeah.
But she's still living up to
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Yeah.
So
I can agree with that.
I went long on Charlotte, but
it's okay. That's just like her. Well, unlike her title reigns, you just went a little longer than
real quick.
Yeah, real quick. So my number 4 this year for 2019 is. Can we see that?
You're gonna have to put that up.
On the New Day's head. It's the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. I'm wearing I'm all decked out in my Asuka apparel today. This was not supposed to be like a foreshadowing or anything like that. But Asuka comes in at my number 4 because she came in the year strong. She came in this year as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Yep. You know, had that finished off 2018 phenomenal, beating both Becky Lynch and Charlotte in the women's TLC match, and then going on to beat Becky at the Royal Rumble for, to retain the title and everything like that. Then, when she lost it in the build-up to WrestleMania, she kind of floundered a little bit. Yep. Pretty much for, what would you say, 6 months?
Yeah, she did.
6 months, she just kind of floundered around. But she saved herself here at the end of the year with this another heel turn, of course, another heel turn. And then this amazing women's tag team run that she's had with Kairi Sane.
Yep.
They're both making the belts feel much more important than they did at the beginning of the year.
Hell yeah, they are.
So for me, Asuka comes in as my number 4.
Can't argue Asuka at all. But my number 4 is Rhea Ripley. It feels, now that I'm saying it out loud, it feels a little low.
It feels a little premature for me anyway. I feel like she's only done so much in these last 2 months, but it's your list. She
had a big end of the year, and I feel like her impact weighs more than some of everybody else's impact. As far as like, some of the other women in the main roster, and in NXT was dominated throughout the year by somebody else that is on my list. So I can't put her ahead of that individual.
Of course.
But
of course.
She did have she won for Team NXT at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Then she goes on and becomes NXT Women's Champion, ending the longest reign, right?
Something like that.
Second longest reign? One of the longest reigns?
I think cumulative, I think it was longer than Asuka's reign. Yeah. I think. But, first ever 2-time Women's Champion. Yep. 2-time NXT Women's Champion.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, Rhea Ripley started the year as NXT UK Women's Champion.
Yep, she was the first ever.
Finishes the year as NXT Women's Champion. So
okay, yeah.
Rhea had a good year.
I can see that. She definitely finished the year stronger than anybody else.
Yeah.
Maybe in the entire WWE and the entire AEW combined with this list.
She's on fire right now. She's how Becky started the year. Rhea is finishing the year.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison. All right. Number 3 for me is your girl. Hey. Back when she was a hugger, Bayley.
Hey.
Back when she was, because even though and I'm taking into account her heel turn, which again tore me up on the inside,
loved it.
To just destroyed me internally. It was much needed. It really catapulted her towards the end of the year here. Yep. But even before that, because she's having a decent run right now. Her and Sasha being the real assholes that they are right now.
I love it.
Yeah. This is good, but even beforehand, I was, I could see like the rest of the company and everything like that were kind of starting to get behind her, even if the fans weren't cheering her like they were Becky or anything like that during her face run with the title.
Yeah.
I felt they were pushing her very strong. I felt that everything felt right. She was dominating her competitors as a babyface, which she usually doesn't get, well, not just Bayley usually doesn't get any dominance at all. So the fact that she was doing that, showing that she can go in the ring, all that leading up towards the end of the year with her, again, her heel turn.
Don't say it so disappointed.
I'm disappointed, man. pushes her into my number 3 slot.
You know, we are on the same page at number 3, and I initially didn't. Bailey initially was number 1 for me.
Really?
She was number 1.
Jesus.
Because, she's my girl.
I know.
But I said it's not right. You got to be realistic.
With your list, you got to be realistic.
I got to be realistic.
Okay.
Even though it is my list and Bailey is my girl.
I hope it stays that way once we get to the men's side.
It's not. I'll tell you that right now. I had to be realistic. Bailey has had a nice run. She did start the year off with the women's tag team titles with Sasha. Then she won Money in the Bank. Then she cashed in on Charlotte. And then she lost it quickly and then won it right back because we spoke about Charlotte's quick reigns.
Yep.
And then she turned heel with just that right there was enough to put her at number 1 for me.
That was the icing on the cake.
That was it.
The cherry on top.
But I can't say that she's had a better year than my 1 and 2.
Of course.
If I'm being realistic.
Yeah.
So Bailey for me also number 3.
Right on. So now it's going to be, I think we're getting into again, just like our last list, we're getting in the same realm. We probably have the same top 2, maybe just switched around. So let's see where we're going for it. But for my number 2, has to go to the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. Big Shani B. Just for every reason in the book. She was dominant this year all the way through. There was realistically nobody that I could see taking off her until Rhea came along. Mm-hmm. But even then, through all her matches, she put everybody over.
Yep.
So even certain points with Candice LeRae and Io Shirai, I'm in the steel cage match with Io, mm-hmm. I was like, there's no way they're gonna take the belt off Shayna, right? There's no way they're gonna do it. But yeah, even in the steel cage match where it looked like Io, was having a lot of offense in, possibility, everything that Shayna does, from dominance to selling to everything, it was just her year. I felt like if it wasn't for my number 1, obviously she would be the number 1. Mm-hmm. But because of the exposure and everything like that, her dominance kind of didn't really come to the forefront until she jumped Sasha and Bailey on SmackDown leading up to Survivor Series, which, again, first shot fired, that was enough to do it for me. Shayna Baszler is my number 2 this year.
My number 2 is also Shayna Baszler.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Dominance, man. Dominance. And like you said, she also put all of her opponents over, even in defeat.
They all look like a bigger deal after going one-on-one with Shayna.
Yeah. And I really, as much as it was time for her reign to end, and Rhea's the one that's got the rocket on her back and she's going straight to the moon, it felt like it wasn't about to end in that match.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It was like she's about to tap Rhea out, and even in defeat she looked dominant.
And realistically, would you have been mad if she had kept the belt?
No,
right? It feels natural now.
It's nobody's supposed to beat her.
No.
So I mean, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time for her to go elsewhere. She dominated NXT. There's really nobody, even with Rhea beating her, there's really nobody that's better than her down there. And I feel like, to me, when we started the year off, we kept speaking about the 4 horsewomen with Ronda and Shayna and the other 2 who don't matter as much to me. But whenever you spoke of that side of the 4 horsewomen, the ultimate fighting 4 horsewomen, you always spoke of it as Ronda is the best, Ronda is the leader, Ronda is the most dominant. When we get to them all being in WWE, Shayna is the dominant one, more so than Ronda is, in my opinion. And it showed throughout the year. It showed last year. If we did this last year, she still would have been probably in this same spot.
Yeah.
So, number 2 also for me, Shayna Baszler.
The reason that she probably would have still been in the number 2 spot, even last year, is because even though it's kind of cooled down and everything like that, mm-hmm. there's still no denying that 2019 was the year of Becky Lynch.
The man.
Becky 2 belts. Everything.
Sure.
Everything was just, first of all, everything was targeted to her. They really got behind her and everything like that. So there's not much. I mean, you can list all her accolades. Becky 2 belts, beat Ronda Rousey mm-hmm. at WrestleMania. Was the first ever women's main event for WrestleMania.
Yep.
Just fantastic all the way around. The only thing that I'd have to say that kind of hampered her and was literally what cooled down is probably her program with Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
I don't think Lacey was ready. That's not Lacey's fault and anything like that. But really started picking up again for Survivor Series when it was just her and Shayna, and unfortunately Bailey was the one that got the forgotten one for that one, but started picking up again, and I think arguably she's got a lot of heat back on her, especially now with this program she's starting to go into with Asuka.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that at this Royal Rumble, this upcoming Royal Rumble 2020. Looking forward to seeing that rematch from last year. So
obviously for me, also number one is Becky 2 belts. I would say, yeah, the Lacey feud kind of. I really didn't want her to lose the second belt so quickly.
No, yeah, she didn't need that. Yeah,
she lost that belt really fast to me. I mean,
it was the next pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, it was like, damn, you just won.
Yeah,
it's like, give us that one. We're gonna give it back to Charlotte here.
Yeah,
but that made way for Bailey to sneak in.
That wasn't the plan. Don't make it seem like that was their plan the whole way through. Yeah.
Thank you. So in that regards, I guess, but I think the situation. Well, yeah, you're right, because that Lacey Evans was Lacey feud was with Corbin, right?
Yep.
And her and Seth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they pushed that whole. Oh, did you know they're a couple thing together? That was worse than the Bobby and Rusev thing going. That was not worse than that. It was definitely worse.
I'll watch that
because it was real
again.
life. No.
I'll watch that again right now.
Oh, you're gross.
Bring me back Seth and Becky right now. I'll watch it all day.
We're gonna live stream you watching all of Becky and Seth, and then all of Bobby and Rusev.
No more Bobby.
The
and
live
Rusev.
streams.
I'll watch Becky and Seth all day long.
It's gonna be like 2 straight hours of a grown man crying and eating himself into a coma.
Hey man, I can deal with that. I can't deal with this Lana and Rusev stuff.
Well, it's almost over. They're getting married here.
Goodness. But throughout the year, Becky pretty much was in the spotlight more than anybody else for the most part. She's been just dominating this year. Cover of 2K20. Even though they threw Roman on there, I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either.
They should have just gave her the cover by herself.
Yeah, but don't let that detract from everything else that she did. Phenomenal year for Becky.
I think my only issue with Becky this year is the fact that she was gone for 2 weeks and we don't know what the hell happened.
You're still mad about that.
Like, explain to me where you went for 2 weeks.
She had to take time off, man. Her fiance is doing crazy shit.
Was she hurt? They didn't even normally in a storyline. Like, oh, she got banged up and she had to take some time off.
They don't ever tell us anything.
They'll make it seem like somebody got hurt.
It doesn't matter to anything. They don't. No matter what the storyline is, they don't care. They'll just shoehorn somebody in for no reason.
They didn't tell us shit with Becky. She was just like, all right, well,
that's just the norm now.
I'm out for 2 weeks.
That's just the free. I don't
know we're the hottest wrestler in the game.
If you're not watching AEW or NXT, why are you worried about the story?
Good point. Very good point.
No point.
Number one, clearly, our top threes matched, right?
Yeah, all the way down.
So, number one, clearly, Becky Lynch, without a shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm. So, you want to go ahead and start your list for the top 5 men's?
Yep, I'll start top 5 male wrestlers of the year. Now, we are going to introduce some AEW into this.
Yeah.
Because number 5 for me is Jon Moxley.
Okay.
Now let's throw this out here. I'm not a big fan of Jon Moxley.
Really?
I was not a big fan of him as Dean Ambrose either. He was the third best in the Shield to me. I never liked this lunatic fringe thing.
I didn't even like the name. That's a stupid name. What does it even mean?
I didn't like him leaving.
You didn't like anything.
But I give credit where credit is due. The dude is a great wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
And him showing up in AEW was a big surprise. I wasn't expecting it. At least not that soon. And he just shows up and comes in there and starts whooping ass. And he's put on the show. Every time I see him in AEW, he puts on the show. So I do respect what he's doing. Even though I am not the biggest Moxley fan. But I can respect what he's doing. So no doubt about it, you have to have him on your list. He's got to be top 5 for me.
Okay. Well, then he's an honorable mention for me because John Moxley didn't crack my. He didn't crack my top 5 this year.
Oh man,
he did not crack my top. I mean, I love me some John Moxley, so I agree with you 100%. But yeah, he just also at the beginning of the year when he was Dean Ambrose, I couldn't have asked for him to get out of WWE quicker. Remember he almost fought Nia Jax? That probably would have been fun.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That would have been fun, but they took that away from us. Mm-hmm. If we had gotten that, maybe he would have cracked the top 5.
But see, if he would have never made it known that he was leaving ahead of time, then they wouldn't have put him in those bullshit storylines. It was like, as the minute that they said, hey, Moxley's leaving, or Ambrose is decided to leave WWE, or when his contract ends in April. This was like 4 months in advance they said he was going to leave. It's like, why? Why are we telling this? And then they put it in the storyline, and every match was like a farewell tour. And then they just put him in shitty programs after that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, if he would have never said anything, and see, now I'm like, wishing I wouldn't have put him on the list. But he has been great in AEW. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah, he's been really great in AEW.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick to WWE with my number 5, and I'm going with the newly, I guess, reformed American Dragon, Daniel Bryan. This is a old one, apparently, because Daniel Bryan doesn't have a beard anymore.
Or a shaggy cut.
Or, yeah, he looks really clean right now. Yeah, he looks really good, actually. Yeah. He looks like 10 years. He looks like he's starting 2010.
Yeah.
Going into 2019.
Yeah,
like, his thing's just restarted all over again.
With the Nexus, he's choking people out.
That's what, oh, yeah. Look for that. God, come on, Cole. Get Michael Cole. So, number 5 is Daniel Bryan for me, from his amazing Planets Champion gimmick at the beginning of the year. He is, and I know there's we're going to get into it a little bit later, but Kofi's Kofi Mania run would not have meant as much if it wasn't for how well Daniel Bryan played the heel. Even in his match, just how well, like, you're looking at it, you're watching it, everything like that, and Daniel Bryan is literally convincing us there's no way Kofi's going to win this match.
Yeah.
Made the moment so much more special, but even more than just his Planets Champion run, that run that he had a little bit afterwards, where, more recently he went between the, should I go back to the Yes Movement, or should I, stay kind of my solo act and everything like that. All that was even, captivating. It made it to where I had to see what Daniel Bryan was going to do.
Oh, yeah.
Had to go through that, everything like that. Finally came full circle. His match with The Fiend, he probably did a better job than I think Seth Rollins did.
Definitely.
That red light is just terrible, just washes everything out. But from everything that he's done this year, leading into, he finished strong. He's got his number 1 contenders match. He's going to face The Fiend again at the Royal Rumble. He looks like he's on the Rocket. Looks like the Rocket might finally be strapped to his back again. It's a shame that he's not going to be in the Royal Rumble this year. Mm-hmm. But here's to 2021 having Daniel Bryan's hand raised at the Royal Rumble.
Can I go back? Can I go back?
I don't know if you're gonna
Are we allowed to go back on this?
It's your video, but
I'm taking mine back. You sold me.
We just don't care about. We just don't care about rules and regulations.
You sold me, man. You sold me.
You didn't have Daniel Bryan.
I didn't have Daniel Bryan.
Wow.
You sold me. So let's X out Moxley.
Why don't we just skip over? Why don't you just edit out your entire spiel?
No, I want to be honest.
Okay.
I want to be honest here. Let's say Moxley is my honorable mention.
Okay.
Because I do respect what he did. And his matches have been great. Even what I thought was going to be a shit show of a match with the barbed wire and...
With Kenny Omega, the unsanctioned?
Yeah, I didn't think that was... I
was looking forward to that more than anything.
Nah.
Second only to Cody and Jericho that night.
That was... I don't want to see... When I watch that, I don't want to see... Unless it's Mick Foley. I don't want to see
that's
people
not fair.
with barbed wire and all this craziness. I want to see you put on a technical show like he's done in every other match.
One of those purists, huh?
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him do what he's done in every other match. I'm taking it back. Moxley is honorable mention. Daniel Bryan, I'm agreeing with you. I'm even going to change it on my phone.
There you go.
Daniel Bryan, I'm agreeing with you for number 5.
Well, you might as well just take over my whole list then, because I'm going to just go ahead and do that for you all the way through.
No.
Change every one of your mind.
No, I think we're good from here.
Okay, let's see.
My number four is going to be King Corbin.
So you sure you don't want to look at my list? You sure you don't want to take a look at my... Don't look at my list.
I'm sticking with this one.
God.
I'm sticking with this one.
Really?
I'm sticking with King Corbin.
You're not being funny here.
No.
Because you're not being funny.
Nope.
You're not kidding.
Nope.
Oh.
King Corbin.
You gotta have some balls come on your... Well, I guess it is your video. Your own video. You gotta have some balls come on your own video.
Yes.
And try to push King Corbin as a top 5 wrestler this year.
Yeah. He's done a lot.
Okay, go ahead.
He's done a lot this year.
Explain yourself. Explain these actions.
Besides
selling dog food for your dog, what has this man done for you?
Outside of, say, Jericho, who's been a better heel this year? Who has made you hate them more this year? If we're excluding Brock Lesnar, because that guy.
Oh, is he not in your top 5?
No, he's not in my.
I feel like he made you hate for real.
Yeah, but no.
Okay.
But as what a heel is supposed to be in wrestling, somebody that gets in the mic, you're like, man, I want to just punch that guy. Everything he does, and then
Seth Rollins.
I didn't want to fight Seth until like recently.
Till like recently?
Yeah.
As early as January?
That's a little... No, I mean, I wasn't too mad at him when he was going against Brock earlier in the year. And,
yeah.
You know, some of that stuff, I wasn't mad. But Baron Corbin, to me, has improved in the ring as well. Because I thought some of his matches, before that he couldn't really go as much. You know, it looked awkward to me.
Yeah.
But now he's like one of the better big men.
Mm-hmm.
The end of days, nobody gets up.
No, they don't. It's a great finishing move.
Yeah.
It looks like devastating too.
And in this era where I'm really not changing this one now, the more that I say,
the more you build yourself up.
In this era of people kicking out of people's finishing moves, nobody gets up from the end of days. The only time you see somebody get up from it is if they never get into it in the first place. Like, I think, who was it, Kofi or somebody the other day, he went for it and they flipped out of it.
Okay.
And it didn't actually land it. No, it was Daniel Bryan. It was Daniel Bryan that did it. Flipped out of it. Corbin went for it.
Kofi's done it before too.
Yeah, and he just flips it. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, your heart skips a little bit because you're like, well, that's the end of oh, shit. And then they escape.
Yeah.
And then he won King of the Ring, and he's beat the face of the company twice. He's beat Roman twice this year. So even though, you know, I didn't like the whole fake puppy barking feud with Roman. I didn't like that part. Yeah. But even his feud with Chad Gable was good. Like, you made Chad Gable into kind of a bigger deal than what he was earlier in the year. So I'm sticking with Baron Corbin, number 4.
All right. Well, you're not going to sell me on Baron Corbin.
Come on over.
You're not going to sell me on Baron Corbin. I will give you, he has the best King of the Ring attire ever. 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 No, that was just it was literally the store-bought cape and crown for King Booker.
But he doesn't have the accent.
He doesn't need it. That's what I'm saying.
The king accent.
That's why he's trash. I'm giving you the best attire. I'm giving you the best cape and crown ever for King of the Ring. That's all you're getting from me. My number 4, now that we've come back from whatever bizarro world or wherever Cody Graves likes to say we just went to. My number 4 goes to the American Nightmare, Cody, because he has the toughest job in the business right now. Not just running AEW, because that's what he does. I'm talking about actually in the ring. He has to get over. He has to cut promos. And he has to get over as a white meat babyface. Mm-hmm. That is the hardest job in wrestling today, this generation, this era, probably since actually the 1990s when Stone Cold started stomping mud holes in people's asses.
Yeah.
It is the hardest thing to do to get over as a white meat babyface that the fans actually want to get behind. Mm-hmm. And you actually, when Cody cuts his promos, you actually, you believe what he's saying. You actually want to get behind this dude. And then he goes in the ring, and he's not even in the elite, like the group of the elite, he's not the best, technically, but he is a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
He puts on great matches and everything. He is, and there's just the fact that he's also elevating AEW to the height that he is. It's, for me, there's no way he wasn't gonna crack my top 5. And then just small plug, he's got the best entrance music in all of AEW right now.
Yeah.
So for me, I get hyped every time the lights go out. That little whatever it is, that little centerpiece in the middle of the stage lights up and starts raising, and you just hear the that's every time for me.
I can't disagree. He's not on my list.
Okay.
But I can't disagree. He has stepped it up. He is a far improved version of what he was, and I liked him in WWE.
I also liked him in WWE.
I liked him a lot, and he got better.
Yeah.
It's like, you're better than that. Like, we spoke about a few episodes back. It's like he went and studied his dad's promos, and you can feel Dusty coming out. From not saying that he's just an exact copy of his dad.
No.
But you can feel that energy. When Dusty used to cut a promo, you shut the hell up and you listen to what Dusty said. When Cody cuts his promos now, you shut the hell up and you listen to what Cody has to say.
He's got me.
So I don't disagree with that. I'm not gonna argue your number 3. That was your number 3.
That was my number 4.
Okay, I'm on.
You're on number 3.
My number 3. My number 3. No.
Xavier Woods.
No, it's not that guy. It could be that guy. You want me to switch it up?
I already knew your 3 was gonna be.
Because top 3 will be.
Your 3 is gonna be one of those 3, just whatever order they're in. That's your top 3.
I can remove this guy and my number 2, and just be those guys.
Yeah, good luck with that.
My number 3 is this guy, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend.
You gotta mention the Fiend because
the Fiend.
He didn't start off this year, I guess, because he was kind of gone for a little bit at the beginning of the year. But it was the
Either of World stuff was the beginning of this year.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, was it last year?
I think it was the end of last year because I think he was off for a little bit once Matt Hardy got hurt.
Yeah,
and then we saw that little buzzer pop out of the box, like the Raw after WrestleMania or something like that.
Yep.
That was our first glimpse of, and we didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
So
I think this is. I'm a big fan of this whole Fiend thing, and I feel like this is where they should have gone from the beginning. When it was, when they had him versus Taker, and Bray was supposed to be, in my opinion, the next person to take that fear torch. When Taker used to come out, it used to be like, I'm terrified of that guy. That guy's gonna kill somebody for real.
Yeah.
And he's gonna push the coffin out. He's gonna bury you, and that's the end of it. But nobody was feeling that role. It was like they were trying to have Bray do it, but then they would pull it back and give him something goofy. And then they had the thing with the whole segment with Randy Orton, and then Randy defeats him at that whole game. It's like, no, you're not supposed to do this. But now with the Fiend, oh man, it's so beautiful. And it's great storytelling. And it's the character that I feel like he's supposed to be. And then you also have him as just normal, goofy Bray come out in the sweater and wrestle and smiling and happy and Firefly Funhouse and all this stuff. This is great. Bray Wyatt on the WWE side has arguably been the best thing on TV all year. When Firefly Funhouse comes on, that's hard to say. When that comes on, I'm usually excited to hear what he has to say, even if it's just something goofy.
It is pretty much goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, because it's usually setting up something for the next story. And then whoever he fights turns into their previous self. It's just great. I love everything that Bray's been doing. I want him to stay like this for the foreseeable future.
All the way through.
Maybe tweak it a little bit, just to give the character new life, but we don't need to see him be like American Badass Fiend. Just tweak it a little bit just to give him something fresh. But, I love what Bray's done this year. He's easily one of my favorites. So number 3 for me, Bray Wyatt.
As long as he doesn't drop the belt to Roman at WrestleMania.
That's happening.
It probably is happening. As long as, if he keeps up this persona, then next year he can make my top 5. He didn't make it for me this year for one reason, and one reason only. It was the Hell in a Cell match. And no, it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He did his job, but one of them should have been like, hey, this is probably not the best way to go about this.
Yeah.
He played a part in it. So for that, for the worst decision.
You're knocking him because of Seth?
That's how bad Seth was this year. Ruined everybody's chances on this list.
Come on.
Looking at it, nobody on this list has anything to do with Seth, actually. I take that back. Yeah, nobody.
Sort of with 2 belts.
Well, I guess, but she did her own thing. That doesn't even count. Right, yeah. No, she has to do with him. It's the other way around. My number 3 is actually, yes, one of the figurines on the table. Can you guess who?
Who?
It's your boy. Yeah. It's your boy, Kofi. Yeah. Kofi Kingston is my number 3 this year. Because, yeah, I mean, the WrestleMania moment itself is the biggest that I've ever seen. It was the most special moment that I've ever got to witness and be a part of. You know, you feel like you're a part of it. Mm-hmm. And even though, you know, when I saw Daniel Bryan win at WrestleMania 30, I thought nothing was ever going to top that. Yeah. For me, anyway. I thought nothing was ever going to top that for me. And then Kofi's, and, you know, technically Daniel Bryan topped his own thing. Mm-hmm. So good for him. Good on him. But Kofi's reign, or Kofi's, you know, his underdog story to Kofi Mania, to actually WrestleMania where he won it, to even his title reign where he looked like a dominant champion. They booked him. He didn't lose very often. Yep. And if he did lose in a tag team match, he never took the pin. Yep. So all that build, yeah, they made him look real great. All the way up to even now at the end of the year, you know, he's finishing the year as a tag team champion. Yep. You know, can't be mad at everything like that. The only thing that kept him off of like 1 and 2 was probably his loss of the belt, and then the fact that his whole feud, the feuds that he had coming up, he was dominant in his wins, but none of them felt like real main event feuds to me. Yeah, and that's not his fault.
Not the Samoa Joe one?
No, not even the Samoa Joe one.
KO?
No, because KO was shoehorned in there a little too fast because it was supposed to be Daniel Bryan there. So that KO one didn't feel right. The Dolph Ziggler one was just trash. Yeah, I almost forgot about that till I had to like actually go back and look at it. So didn't feel it for Dolph Ziggler. You know, Randy Orton had a little bit of momentum going. Yeah. You know, I felt like it was going to be good and everything like that. It just, something about it fell flat. Maybe Randy, because he just didn't give a damn anymore. Yeah. So, but, you know, not his fault, any of those cases. He still put on great matches. He still looked like a dominant champion. So, for me, Kofi Kingston, number 3.
Number 3. Kofi is not number 3 for me.
Number 2.
Number 2. He's not number 2 for me either.
Oh, okay.
Number 2 for me, you can't think about AEW unless you speak about Le Champion. Chris, even though this is the list, Jericho.
Pretty apropos for today.
Chris Jericho is number 2 on my list.
On your lexicon.
Jericho, for the most part, is the reason I tune in to AEW. Even if it's like he isn't scheduled to have much going on, I'm like, he's gonna say something goofy that's gonna be memorable. And then his matches have been good. His like commentary's been good. The stuff that he does during commercial breaks is good. You have to watch every single bit of Jericho on AEW. You can't be like, oh, commercial break, let me run. No, yeah. I'm staying. If he's on the screen, I'm staying. I'll hold my pee.
Yep, you gotta hold it.
I'll hold it while Jericho's on the screen.
You gotta hold it. Dinner could be ready. You gotta let it get cold. Yeah. Jericho's talking.
Yeah, he's talking. He's in the ring. He's got a mic. I'm sitting still. And then to top that, his matches have been good.
They've been really good. Yeah.
It's like he's been kind of the total package for me this year. There's only one reason he's not number 1. And I think everybody knows why. Yeah. But if not for the number one, hint, then Jericho was easily number 1 for me. He just was an amazing. It was like, at first I thought with AEW crowning their very first champion, I said, why wouldn't you give that to one of the younger guys?
Yeah,
a Cody or Kenny Omega or Pac. Like, why wouldn't one of these guys get it? But Jericho was absolutely the right choice for that. And with each match that he has, he's putting over the younger talent. Every time. Scorpio Sky would have never got a title shot.
No.
That would have never happened. Jungle Boy would have never got that match against him. Even though it wasn't a title match. It was still Jungle Boy versus Chris Jericho. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it wound up being a good match. Like, Jericho's great. I'm not going to talk myself into changing him for number one. But he's staying number 2. But he great year for Chris Jericho.
Yeah, you live with a little too much bias in your life. Just a little bit.
I'm sticking with it.
Just a little too much. Well, my number 2 happens to go back down to NXT. I say back down over to the main roster of NXT. And you can't have a main roster without a main champion. So my number 2 this year is Adam Cole, baby. He's just, especially towards the end of the year.
I thought about it. Oh, I thought about it so hard.
That's another thing. You left Adam Cole off, but you kept Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
No, I'm not.
Well, you should be. 2020, you should change.
I'm leaving Baron on here.
I'm not going to let you deter me from my Adam Cole speak, because Adam Cole has been just amazing. Just from everything he does, the fact that it is Undisputed Era's era right now, he is just the main stage, the main star of all of it. He's been putting on his match. Bro, you want to talk about, you got to stick around for whenever Chris Jericho cuts a promo. You literally have to hold everything in for if Adam Cole is in a match.
Yeah. Because
you do not leave to go see, you don't leave anything. I don't care if, your child's trapped under a drawer or something like that. They're like, look, we're gonna see this Panama sunrise. You just shut up down there. Make yourself comfortable, because Adam Cole is wrestling right now. He has just been, and then the end of his year, from going and invading SmackDown, taking on and beating Daniel Bryan clean, to going up, and we're just going to say, for all intents and purposes, he was going to beat Seth Rollins clean or not, whatever.
Yeah.
So Seth Rollins almost got you off this list, Adam Cole, just for being associated with him in a match. But you're just so great that you can't look past everything else he's done, and I'm looking forward to what he's doing in 2020. I think he could hold that belt probably for the rest of the year, at least until SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody right now that I'm ready to put my faith in to take it off him yet. Even Tommaso Ciampa.
Not Tommaso?
Even Tommaso.
I want to see Goldie's got to go home.
I want to see this era last for the rest of my life.
Goldie's for the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life.
Era?
Look, I already bought the shirt, so
goodness gracious.
This is amazing talent. I'm speechless. I'm lost for words. Adam Cole, you are my spirit animal.
We're gonna pause for just a second, because I have to do something for my number 1.
What a way to end.
Number 1, without a shadow of a doubt, for me, not for this guy, I bet, but for me.
It can't be. I already gave mine. You already made my list once.
Kofi Kingston.
Can you imagine if you made it twice?
Yeah, he's number 3.
Yeah, number 3 and 1 on my list.
Kofi Kingston, without a shadow of a doubt, number 1 for me, for all the reasons I explained in the previous episode. I'm not going to give a 10-minute spiel about why he's my number 1 this year.
Episodes 1 through 9 explain why Kofi is your number 1 this year.
Kofi Kingston, number 1. He is the reason that I even purchased this belt. And it didn't look like this was going to happen at the beginning of the year. It didn't look like, he was going to have that meteoric rise, get the rocket that wound up happening. But the unfortunate injury to Mustafa Ali led to great things. And I think Kofi handled it well. I think he may even have another reign in him in the future, based off of how he held the title this year. It wasn't like it was a Jinder run.
No.
Like Jinder held the title for just about the same amount of time, but Jinder was like he dropped instantly afterwards. He went back to mid-card land, maybe below mid-card land.
Yeah.
Afterwards,
it wasn't like his title reign or not Jinder's, Kofi's, felt real.
Yeah.
Felt like a real title reign.
Yeah.
Not like a consolation title reign. Like, here you go, you've done it for 11 years. All right, we'll give you the belt now. It didn't feel like that at all to me.
It was legit. It was legit. So, no doubt about it. Kofi Kingston, number 1.
That'd be an admirable number 1 if you were thinking with your head other than your heart. But you are a biased son of a bitch.
I am.
You are a very biased man in this house. So I will give you the true number 1. That is your man, Le Champion of AEW, Chris Jericho. I needed to make sure he was blocking Kofi all the way. No, for all the reasons you said, if it wasn't for your number one, he would be number one. Well, he just is number one. Everything that he did this year, from taking an upstart company and making it fit, he's probably a main reason, not to discredit any of the amazing wrestling that happens on AEW, but he is the big name star that got a lot of people back into wrestling. Mm-hmm. He's the reason that the Wednesday night wars looked like they were in favor of AEW for a large portion of the beginning.
Yeah. So,
like you said, from everything from his great promos to his fantastic matches he's having, putting over younger guys, it's a joy to watch.
Skateboarding during the commercial breaks.
Everything that man does is just phenomenal. Yeah. And he's doing it all off the cuff. There's none of it scripted. They give him maybe, the little points he's got to push. He just goes out there and he might be the GOAT. He might be the GOAT.
I'm not switching. I'm not switching. Number one is Kofi. Jericho's number two.
I mean, you already got all the. Would you have all this merchandise and just not gonna put Kofi?
Yeah, Kofi. I got this bought before all this. This was years ago. I bought this.
Yeah, well, you finally got to use it.
But Jericho, I will agree that with everything you said, Jericho. I almost want to say his promo with the lexicon was enough.
To put do it. Yep.
But yeah, he has been the main attraction for the Wednesday Night Wars, man. So I just the historic aspect of what happened with Kofi this year, it puts it to the top. You remove that, Jericho, no doubt about it, is number one. There's no question who nobody's beating Jericho on that. Mm-mm. I think if not for those two, it would have had to been Bray for me. But Jericho, man, he has been on fire. So I'm not gonna knock that. And then he formed the stable, the Inner Circle. They're on fire too. Just because of association, you start to care about people who the Latin or the Spanish god.
He became a Spanish sex god this last episode. Yeah,
they keep adding names to him. So yeah, man, you become important once you get that gift from Jericho. So I agree, man. I have no issues with your number one, but
nobody should.
We see who the real number one is.
I think that's a good spot to end. You're really bringing me down already.
So let's get this over. Let's get this over here. Yeah, get that in there. Yeah. No, you get out of here.
Go ahead and smack it. It's your Funko Pop.
Let's put Kofi. Yeah, hang on there, Kofi. So, that's going to do it for episode number 10. Thank you all for watching. We truly appreciate it. Thank you all for those of you who do leave comments and add things and tell us how we're doing. We also appreciate that. We will be doing more videos, more lists this week.
Yep, both of us are off, so we got time to do it.
Yeah, we got time to work on some more material, and we will holler at you all in the next video. Peace. Don't get...